welcome to my podcast, Soul Expansion and Inspiration. This is Series 3, Episode 7, and my name is Allie O'Shea. Today, I'd like to give a very warm welcome to Leanne Babcock. Leanne is a transformational coach, an author, a speaker, an inspirational speaker, and an intuitive. Welcome, Leanne. I'm so delighted that you're here with me today.
Thank you, Allie. I'm so excited too. I'm so excited that we met and that you've invited me. And I love the work that you do.
Oh, thank you. And the same here. I mean, you're doing amazing stuff, which we're going to get into, of course, during this conversation. And I'm so excited for everybody to hear the amazing things that you're doing. It's so exciting. So first of all, I'd like to go back to your childhood and where your spiritual story begins. And you say that you basically, when you were younger, you used to go outside and feel the trees and the rocks speaking to you, and that the psychic realm was kind of natural for you. Do you want to talk to everybody a little bit about this?
Yeah, sure. So I recall, being 4 and 5, and I had a lot of time on my own, and so I would go outside, and I just felt, like I felt such never alone. I felt such like a kindred spirit almost. I would talk with the trees out there. I had a favorite tree, and we would just talk about life. And for me, it wasn't like my parents were also, they studied intuition and paranormal psychology.
Wow.
So that I was considered weird or anything. Like I could see auras. I remember, being at school. I would have been about 8, and I could see this white light following the teacher. And I'd seen these before, but I was introverted, right? So I never spoke out about what I saw.
Right.
And it was the first time, and I said to the boy beside me, "What's that white thing following the teacher?" And he just looked away as if I hadn't said anything. And I realized, oh, that isn't what everybody sees. And so, yeah, I did go through a questioning of, making this up, or is this real? But I was very sensitive and could see things and hear things and feel things.
Yeah, that's amazing. And of course, trees do have consciousness, as we now know.
Yes. I never, I said, I never felt alone, always had company, and I would just go outside and talk with the trees and the rocks.
That's amazing. I know so many people in childhood, obviously talking to so many spiritual people doing what I do, that also had similar experiences, maybe not with trees and rocks, but, seeing auras and seeing energies and seeing other beings and things like that. And not really understanding that this wasn't the norm for everybody else. So it must be absolutely fascinating. I mean, I'm an energy healer, but it wasn't until later on that I started to be able to see energy. I can see energy, when I heal, and I can see energy sometimes behind me when I do lives and things like that. But, it's absolutely amazing that, we have these innate abilities within us, and we all have them. But,
we do.
Absolutely just fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
And are you able to still see auras?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. That's a lovely gift. Really nice.
Mm-hmm. I use it often. It's just there, right? So, and I think everybody, we pick it up and we sense it in different ways. So we can actually learn how to see auras.
Yes.
But we also can pick up the energy from someone else just through our own, sensitivities, and we're just not aware of it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And the beauty of that is that we all have our own unique individual energy, and nobody else can take that away from us, and that's what exudes from us and draws people to us, which is a beautiful thing. Or not, as the case may be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So wonderful. Thank you for that. You went on to study various streams of psychology and worked for and volunteered for companies leading their courses on personal and spiritual development. In 1993, you started your own business delivering corporate coaching and training, and you developed a coaching methodology, I should say, that combined the use of intuition and a suite of different psychologies and began training coaches. Would you like to talk to us a little bit about that time for you?
Yes. I so I've always been attracted to personal and spiritual development. I mean, clearly that was my beginnings,
Yeah.
and I was also really lucky to have found a way to develop my intuition, starting from the age of 12. So I began taking courses and developing it then, and then I began teaching at 13. And
Wow.
it's just kind of like a natural progression, really, for me to then continue on and study different streams of psychologies. And because I wanted to help people. And like I believe that as we heal our own wounds, like that actually gives us the journey and the path for what we're here for.
Yes.
And so as I've been healing myself then I've been helping other people. And it occurred to me that, like as I then stepped into the corporate realm and, kind of found ways of bringing in, I mean, back in 1993, talking about spirit guides and angels wasn't quite the thing back.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like I just found other ways of talking about that, of, becoming more aware, and mindfulness wasn't even a thing back then like it is, but over time, people have become more conscious and more aware of,
Thank goodness.
of who they are and, what they're here for. And so that's always been a stream in the work that I've done and in the training of coaches and designing the methodology. Like I realized that we needed a methodology that worked more intuitively with people. It wasn't here's a 10-step process, learn this process, and this is how you coach people. It's like that's not how it works, because we're all so different. Our mind differently, our sensitivities work differently. And as a coach, you need to know how to adapt your own style to work with the diversities of your own client.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, absolutely. Because again, everybody is so unique and individual, as you just said. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Okay, and then for decades, you've run one-on-one workshops for public, government agencies, and corporate, helping people to transform their inner world, releasing limiting thoughts and self-beliefs, which is so important, and accessing their own inner wisdom, enabling real confidence and wiser choices. And you say, Leanne, that your work is essentially about helping people to find their own truth and their own courage, which is beautiful. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about this?
Yes, I love that. And it really does. It's stems back to what we've been talking about, like everybody has the innate ability to be intuitive, or what I also say is to listen to your own inner wisdom.
Yeah.
We are all, it really is just a matter of picking up on the energy that's flowing around us, flowing through us. And we have inside, it's, you could consider it kind of like an inner compass. And I'm kind of pointing here, right? It's this like inner rod that when we tune into it, it tells us what's true, what feels right. And, we all get that, we've all had a moment when something is right. And if you take a moment and just kind of slow that down, it's like, how do you know when something feels right? And there's something inside your body that actually indicates, oh, this feels right, or this doesn't feel right.
Yes.
And when we tune into that and allow that to guide our life, that's when we really are living a path that's far more fulfilling.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
So I work with people to access that, through a series of, processes that I work with, because it, honestly, Allie, it takes so much courage really to listen to that inner wisdom sometimes.
I think that's because a lot of us have shut it off,
Mm,
because you know, because of outside pressures and social things and the limiting beliefs that we hold and all of that kind of thing, that it's just a kind of a natural occurrence as we go through life, I think, for a lot of people, until they eventually decide to do self-development work and things like that, to come back to the core of their being.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I'm thinking of, you know, one of my clients who, you know, for most of her life, she has made decisions and done things by what was logically the best thing to do, what her parents thought she should do, what her husband thought she should do. And so she did that, and she's, you know, being fairly successful at that. You
Right.
know, inside, she's actually really sad and disappointed. And, you know, she'd been feeling like she really, there was just so much she'd come to fulfill in life, and she just wasn't doing it.
Mm.
And so, you know, just from a process, you know, so then, you know, I work with her, and then she starts tuning into and accessing more of what's true for her, and, you know, what she's here for.
Brilliant.
And so then she realizes actually she's not been listening to, you know, her own inner guidance system.
Mm.
And, you know, in choosing to make different choices, to step out of the you know, the familiarity, the comfort, the of what she has been already doing. It just takes so much courage, but that's what she's been doing, you know, to fulfill a dream that she's had for a very long time. And,
Wow.
you know, so it's so exciting and inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because when we do, you know, begin listening more to that, our own inner wisdom,
Yeah.
um, we we follow more our heart, and we find ways of fulfilling our dreams, and we find the courage to do
That's
that.
beautiful. You know, and it's transforming lives, isn't it? Really enabling people to be on the path that they want to be on, as you say, listening to themselves, listening to their own inner guidance, what it is that they want to do, not listening to somebody else for a change, listening to themselves instead. It's just,
Yes.
and it can create such magic, and or what seems like magic in people's lives.
Mm, that's right.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful for your client. I'm very
Mm.
happy for her. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so you are also certified in hypnotherapy and a master NLP practitioner, which I just love all that stuff. So that must be really amazing. Do you put these practices into, or use these practices in the work that you now do with your clients as well? Or is that just something that you kind of have there in the background and every so often you might use?
No, that's an active part of the work that I do, along with other, you know, modalities that I use.
Yeah.
So hypnotherapy and neuro-linguistic programming, they really go together very well.
Mm.
And you know, so for example, I may be uh, one of my processes, I may be guiding someone, which seems like a closed eye visualization, but really it's embedded with, you know, with, you know, hypnotherapy cues and, you know, neuro-linguistic programming, all aligned with, you know, or all at service of helping the, you know, the person to
Mm.
learn more about who they are, to become more conscious and aware of their own brain habits, their own thought patterns, so that they can break them.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so it actually, because that's all that's happened, right? Is that we have all these limiting thoughts and beliefs that we collect, or you
Yeah.
know, we program from a very, very young age,
Yeah.
and you know, and they go unquestioned because it's a conscious process. And then, you know, here we are in our, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s, and you know, we want to accomplish something, but you know, we bump up against a limiting belief or thought, and it just seems like it's impossible to go beyond.
Yeah.
When we un- but when we break those habit patterns of thought, we set ourselves free. And so I use these methodologies to work with my clients in setting themselves free.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. Absolutely.
Mm.
Okay, so and in 2007, is that correct? 2017, you've published your first book, Open
Yeah.
Me. Love
Yes.
the name, by the way.
Thank you.
And since then, you've gone on to publish a second book called Real and Wild You.
Hmm.
Tell us about these two books, if you would. What they're about and what inspired you, first of all, as well, to write them.
Okay. Well, I always wanted to be a writer, and I just never knew how and when that was going to happen. And so, but this wasn't planned.
Okay.
So, Open Me, the true story of a magical journey from fear to freedom, is a story, a true story about receiving an intuitive message that I did not want.
Oh,
You know, we all receive these niggles and messages, and sometimes it's just really subtle. Like, you might be walking out the door and you get a little message that says, "Take your umbrella."
yeah.
And you know, maybe you get it and maybe you don't, but you realize during the day you needed your umbrella.
Mm,
Well, but sometimes we get messages that are a little bit more challenging to follow.
right.
And so this is my story of that. So it's the, you know, message I got that just totally, it completely busted my world apart, turned everything upside down. And, but I kept following it because as I listened to my own inner wisdom, I just got that it was so true. If I didn't listen to this message, something wasn't going to feel right. But as I kept being true to it and I kept listening, miracles started to happen. Like, Allie, it's amazing. Like, the people would just show up out of nowhere. These helping hands would come along, and life was just, you know, in the face of it looking like it was just going to be disastrous, just ended up being simple and easy and transforming into a whole new environment. And I thought, people aren't going to believe this. So that's actually what birthed my first story.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes. And the reviews have been fantastic. So it's getting a lot of good publicity. And then the other one, Real and Wild You, Your Daring and Magical Inner Journey. And so this is a self-coaching guide. And this one, it has become an international bestseller.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi.
And yeah, so it's just filled with lessons and exercises and more stories on living your life, following and accessing that inner wisdom, and, you know, dealing with the different things that come up, and you know, doing particular healing that you need in order to really access it and work with it powerfully in your life.
Wow, they sound amazing. And where can people buy these books?
You can get them online, you know, through Amazon, through the Book Depository, Barnes and Noble.
Oh,
Get them at live events when I'm showing up.
excellent. Wow, that's amazing. Did you do book launches for them?
I did.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. And they're in Barnes and Noble as well, are they? Is that what you said?
Yes,
Yeah.
online. Yes.
Fantastic. And I
Mhm.
love Book Depository because they don't charge you delivery.
I know. They're great.
The only thing is, if you order 2 or 3 books, the only thing that annoys me about them is when you order 2 or 3 books, they'll send them separately with all this packaging. It's like, why didn't you just send them all together?
Oh.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like. But aside from that, I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next thing is just like so exciting. I mean, it's all exciting really when we look at it in the grand scheme of things, your life, the way it's unfolded, all the magical things that have happened for you along the way, the magic that you're creating in other people's lives. But recently you, first of all, you live in Canada, isn't that correct?
I do, although I've been living in New Zealand for 29 years. And
Wow.
that story of Open Me.
Yeah.
So the message I got was actually to come back to Canada, which is a really big move. So,
Yeah.
but here, I'm
Massive.
back.
You're back. How long are you back in Canada?
It's been 2 years now.
Wow. Wow. And would you say it really was the best move you ever made?
It was the right move.
Yeah.
It was, you know, totally. I mean, living in New Zealand, I loved it in New Zealand, you know.
Yeah.
So it was totally the right thing. I have not doubted that for one moment at all.
Yeah.
You know,
And,
I
and,
mean,
and
honestly,
go ahead.
well, to be really honest is that, I did have in New Zealand, a beautiful lifestyle. I had a beautiful garden. Friends, network. I've been running my business for over 20 years. I was well established. Why on earth would I move? And I was so very comfortable. And it was actually that, um, as I sat down and just really reflected on the comfort, I realized that I was, I was over comfortable. There was stuff going on inside. I wasn't satisfied. I knew that there was something bigger that I was meant to do. I knew that. And yet here I was in this safe, wonderful environment, and the discomfort inside was growing bigger and bigger. And I knew as the longing in me to fulfill who I am became so strong, I knew I could actually choose to stay in this comfy environment, which wasn't getting comfy anymore.
Mm.
Longing and the unsettling was just too strong. Or I could face my fear and step out into the unknown, because I knew that that meant coming to Canada. And who knows, starting my business all over again, and, new people and everything, who knows what I would face. But somehow facing the unknown and that fear was far more attractive than lulling myself and suppressing the pain of not following what I knew was true.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing. And what I was just going to say, when I interrupted you there, was that it led you to an amazing and even more amazing path of recent events, which we're just going to talk about now, which is one of the things is that you took part in a Grand Slam Inspirational Speaker of the Year. And tell everybody where you came.
I did. So there are 10 speakers, like phenomenal people. And you have to apply and get accepted. And so, and I shared the story that really, it took so much courage to share that story. And it's the story that really, it's the story of my life, and how, the decisions that, I made about my life, after going through so much trauma and pain, making decisions that I don't matter, and, like we do about ourselves, then carrying that through my life and going through my own healing journey. So that really has empowered me so much. And so sharing that story with people, like after I shared it, oh my God, I just felt so alive and so grounded.
Yeah.
And I came in fourth.
Amazing. Absolutely
I'm just so
amazing.
proud to have got up there, to have done it. And my talk it was picked up by the Power of Positivity, and it's gone viral.
I know, it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So I know I shared that in the past, but it'll be so far back on my timeline or in my groups at this stage. If somebody wants to go and watch that amazing, incredible video, where do they go? I mean, I know it's somewhere on your timeline too, but is there somewhere that they can just click onto and watch it?
That's a really good question.
Maybe go to the Power of Positivity.
Launched it. Yeah. I could give you the link, and maybe is a link you can put in the podcast for people.
Sure, that'd be great. Yeah, because I watched it obviously, and I thought it was absolutely incredible, and you did an amazing job. And wow, to come forth is just phenomenal, really.
Thank you.
And to even get accepted sometimes at these types of speaking engagements is also, I mean, just a great achievement in itself. Yeah. So congratulations! I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Yes, I'm totally over the moon.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay, so you have a new program coming out, I know, and it's called Woman, beat your drum.
Yes,
First,
that's right.
first of all, how did you come up with the name?
Mm.
And secondly, what is it going to involve?
So how did I come up with the name? Wow, I'm not so sure I remember that process.
Okay, if you don't, it's
But
fine.
when I got there, it was like, yes. And and it may even be this. So the program itself flows through 3 phases. So the first phase is called Lift the Veil. And the second phase is called Hold Your Ground. And then the third phase is called Drum. So the program is for women who are, for the most part, they've been successful. And, they're at that point where they can feel either they've not followed their own inner truth and their own inner desires, or they've put everybody else's needs first and they've done a job at that. And all of a sudden there's something, tugging at them going, hey, what about me?
Yeah.
Or they may be career people or someone who wants to start a business, and they just know that there's this next step for them that they want to step into.
Yeah.
So in the program, we in the Woman Beat Your Drum program, we delve into your purpose for being here. And you get so clear about that, like you can actually and you embed it, you can actually feel it in your cells, the cells of your body. And then we do work to shake up and release and disappear limiting beliefs, limiting thoughts that we have about ourselves and about what's possible. So we carry so much of this that, and it isn't true. When we really, really unmask it, unravel it, it's not true. I can't do this. I can only do this. I have to make sure so-and-so is taken care of. They got to take care of the kids. I got to do the mortgage. I got to make sure my parents okay. We've got all these other things that we put in front of ourselves as, and they become barriers.
Yeah.
To what we really want to do. So we shake up, release, and disappear those limiting thoughts, because they really are just thoughts. And then what happens is there's a world of possibility that opens up. And so when the participant transforms their own inner environment and their relationship with themselves, they transform automatically their relationship with other people. And what happens is the miracles that they actually want in their life, the dreams that they hold, the things that are important to them begin to naturally occur, naturally happen, which is the beating of the drum.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So when are you launching this program?
So the program is available one-on-one as well as in group.
Oh, lovely.
But it's important for people to apply, because it's not necessarily for everybody. And so I would suggest, if people are interested in knowing more about the program, all you need to do is get me a message me on Facebook or my email, and then I'll take it from there and I can get you some more information.
Wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Leanne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you had one piece of advice for the listeners today, what would that be?
Oh, one thing, and that is to do the work to listen to your own inner wisdom. Because by listening to your own inner wisdom, that is where you're going to be guided to take the steps to live a fulfilling and abundant life in all the areas that are important to you. And whether you do that through meditation, breathing techniques, walking in nature, there are a lot of ways to do that, but to find ways to practice daily, accessing that, be my best piece of advice. In fact, in in one of my programs, actually in all of my programs, there's a particular breathing technique that we do, and just simply the keeping in place of that breathing technique daily will transform your life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And you have private group as well, don't you? Or do you have groups open for people to join privately as well?
I do. So I've got private groups, and those are part of the programs I have running.
Mm.
And I have a public group, Facebook group that people can join. And
What's it
it's,
called?
in fact, I've just opened it because I've been having requests for it. So I've got to get onto it. But I've just opened it, and it's called Truly, Wildly, Deeply You.
Lovely. Wonderful. These names, they all suit you so much, down to a T, your personality, everything.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's been absolutely amazing having you here. I'd just like for you to let the listeners know, what your email address is, or where the best place to reach you is, and if you have a website. Or, well, you do have a website because I know that, but what your website address is and all of those good things, so that if anybody wants to come join your program, get in touch with you on Facebook, all of those different types of things, that they can get in touch with you and find out more information.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Allie, for having me here. I'm thinking, oh gosh, we could go on talking. There's so much more to say.
Well, is there another thing that you'd like to tell the listeners while you're here then, before you give your information? We have time.
Oh, I'm just meaning, like, some of these conversations we've had, we could delve into so much more,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, but my contact details are, you can email me at leanne@leannebabcock.ca. My website is www.leannebabcock.ca. And my Facebook, just look up Leanne Babcock.
Yeah.
And you'll find that there. And Instagram, the same thing, at Leanne Babcock.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Leanne. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. And I'm so excited for the success you're having at the moment, and can't wait to see what else is going to come up for you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. So for now, we'll say goodbye to the listeners, and thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next episodes.
Yay!
Bye, everyone.
Bye.